All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your General Greene here, of course, on July 4th, a historic Independence Day 2025. Again, it is Independence Day, the Declaration of the Independence of the United States from a king to declare it a sovereign nation and a sovereign country. Very important to think about. And welcome everybody tuning in. I will be liking and sharing this. Make sure it is being liked and shared. Please do that for me as well, because today we're going to talk about the transition crisis, where all this is headed. I think a lot of you are underestimating how big of a deal this transition crisis, new city-state system is, and how this is the era not just of sovereign nations, but sovereign digital, online, virtual, and physical communities like what we've built here, state-of-the-art, at islandproject.com. A lot of you think that we've just built a real estate portfolio, which we have. It's amazing. Saw Steve G. He was one of my earliest investors in 2022 when we declared our revolution in 1776, just 3 years ago today. And I want you to think about what a miracle the digital Noah's Ark has been now as we approach full funding of $33.5 million with near 400 investors from over 12 different countries worldwide. Mention our beautiful investor from Italy who just came on with an additional 30 units yesterday. The Pitts that have multiple thousands of units with us here at Island Project across their families. His father, he's the son. Got a lot of father-sons. We've got father-daughters, we've got grandparents, we've got people in their 20s, 30s, etc. And we have truly built a sovereign nation using digital technology coming through your screen right here. And we have disrupted the entire new modern economy, economic, financial, physical, AI, robotic, crypto, new currency systems, which I have long been predicting on this channel. Again, I consider myself probably just as much of an entrepreneur as I am a philosopher and an intellectual who really learns about things in depth, packages solutions around those innovations, and then also, admires history, studies history, and then thinks about what are the long-term trends of where things are going, scripturally, biblically, economically, with your currency, with wealth, with physical assets, with government power. So this video is not hyperbole. You are living through a great transition crisis now, an essential collapse of sorts into a new type of digital technology and new type of economy here, July 4th, 2025. So again, congratulations to all of our members. Congratulations to all of you tuning in, and thank you, Steve, for that testimonial. You even put the video together yourself, saved me a lot of time, and thank you for showcasing our amazing $5.5 million penthouse that we bought. That was the number 2 place that we bought in the last few months because we just bought Trump Tower as well, closed on that within the last 30 days. So thank you for showcasing that, and it also made me smile because it reminded me of how beautiful what has been designed by God actually is. How the human experience is incredible. Like, you'll never get those memories back again with your kids, with your family, and with your loved ones. And we have truly invented a system, not just a real estate asset with no bank debt, that provides full participation, 100% equity ownership rights, all the capital gains for our members, future income distributions, plus 1,000x tokenization launch. But in addition to that, a real economic model and a digital and also physical economy you can participate and live in. Live your investment here at the islandproject.com. By the way, that trademark is pending. Live your investment, because to me, as I've said before, you can't do that with a stock. You can't do that with a bond. You can't do it with a lot of these traditional assets. And of course, everything is changing. I mean, think about how much money people dump away on vacation every year and they never get it back. They stay at the Four Seasons or at a Hilton or at a Hyatt. They dump $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, sometimes more on these lavish vacations. It's an empty expense. They never get it back. They don't get a return on their investment. They get absolutely nothing. So imagine staying at your investment, enjoying your life while you make money, while you make passive income, while you get a return, and there's only upside and no downside. That is what we have built. But it's even more than that. So I want to explain where this is headed geopolitically, because sovereign nation states are at a crisis point. Again, I'm dubbing it this great transitionary period where governments are panicking. In fact, even the US government, you notice, is structuring deals with crypto bros, structuring deals with the new Bitcoin billionaire class, the new Bitcoin millionaire class now, because they have no other option. See, the state is actually, just like 1776 was declared, and America was founded through the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the US Constitution, and the king was under threat of the new empire. So is the government today. You know, I use myself as an example, but many of you live like this now as well. Don't depend on the government for anything. Don't receive anything from the government. Don't need any of their services. Everything I do is privatized. Don't have to show up at a physical location. I'm completely decentralized. I can make as much money as I want anywhere in the world from anywhere in the world. In fact, governments should compete for my business, not the other way around. Governments should be begging people like you tuning in, hey, we want you to come. We have low taxation. It's safe. We don't have crime. We have this feature. We have this advantage. Please come and invest because we know you can go anywhere. So it's very interesting, and it's an anachronism, that we have a clash of civilizations now. A clash of what once was state government power, typically dictated by military power and force. And now a peaceful resistance of new billionaires. You're looking at one of them, the billionaire superclass Christian, myself and Papa John and all my members, building entirely new nation states of freedom, autonomously, worldwide, decentralized, governed by no one but God and Christ the King himself. I want you to think about how that is the real golden age. That is real sovereignty. That is real freedom. And yes, Eric, I am a billionaire. My assets in aggregate, a lot of it paper wealth, is worth billions already. So you're just to educate you there. Again, so let's explain where this is going. Let's explain what is going to happen next. So let's get a little bit political here for a minute. I told you that the Trump-Elon Musk fallout has been staged, 100%. Absolutely staged, absolutely choreographed, absolutely fake. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why Elon Musk and the rest of his handlers and the controllers have done that recently. Because they understand the same philosophies, the historical context, and the emergence of these new technologies like I do. So they're positioning the masses for the new system. So what are they doing? Why is Elon divorced from Trump? Why are they having a pretend fight? Why are they angry at each other? Why is Elon Musk fighting back, establishing a new political party called the America Party? Well, he's preparing for this transitional crisis. This transitional crisis, much in Luddite fashion, will not only replace human workers' jobs, many of your careers, but also transfer all of the wealth from the middle class to the elite, to the new cognitive elite, to the AI elite, to the blockchain elite, to the new cyber currency elite, Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum. I called it cyber currency before even Bitcoin was invented. Again, I used to be a Wall Street guy, so I understood even before the invention of Bitcoin and Satoshi that there would be cyber money because I understood TCP, IP, the internet of things, and how a new hegemonic system that was decentralized would be built that would be, again, the anachronism to the old system in the brick and mortar model of modern finance. Very easy to see how this was going to transpire. So what Musk is doing now, very Machiavellian, extremely Machiavellian. You know, all of his cohorts, kind of the Curtis Yarvin philosophical stance of things, the Peter Thiel stance, and he's a fantastic intellectual that I find, to be honest with you, brilliant. Although I don't know how much on the good side of history he's actually on, but I still find his actual mind to be impeccable, brilliant. And I've, studied him for a reason, because these are the people actually deciding world events right now. But they're preparing in Luddite fashion to provide the solution for the new problem they're creating. You see, the inventions that Elon Musk and others have created, artificial intelligence, robots replacing human work, new factories, technological advancement, cyber currencies, by the way, which were all founded. If you really look at this, guys, we know where it came from. I'll just say that. But I understood who created Bitcoin very early on as well. And it's not difficult to figure out at all. So they've got to find a solution to solve the problem they actually manufactured, invented, and created. So what is that going to be? It's going to be the new political system, a new political party, the new America Party. It's going to be universal basic income, because you have to understand that most of the masses aren't critically thinking about what's going on around the world around them. They're not thinking philosophically or intellectually, governmentally, of where this is headed and how the controllers are attempting to reformat and essentially reprint society as a whole. So there's going to be this whole subset, which will make up most Americans, honestly, and most people worldwide, that are going to be absolutely decimated by this great transitionary crisis. Their real wealth will continue to collapse before their eyes. The dollar is already officially dead. Hyperinflation is now spreading like a wildfire worldwide. The dollar is worthless. Fiat currencies are worthless. And the only thing of value is the new cyber economy, cyber currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, RSR, etc., which were invented to replace actually the old reserve assets. That's why it's called reserve rights. It was actually built by Peter Thiel, Sam Altman of OpenAI, and ChatGPT for the transitionary crisis. For the love of God, open your eyes and understand what I'm telling you and what we're talking about today. So what they've done is manufactured a divorce to set up the new system of which Elon Musk is going to swing in as savior. So he's going to swing in with this sword. He's the savior of the new America Party. And as the problems unfold, here's what's going to happen next. Massive, massive crisis. A depressionary-like event of which we are all unfamiliar with and is not like 1929, but is more of a wealth transfer into the glitterati elite, the cyber economy, the intellectual elite, the AI elite, those that are decentralized. Again, I'm living proof of this. You can literally make as endless amounts of money online without any government necessarily required relationship. I mean, I pay my taxes and do all those things because I have to. But the point is, government should be competing for us. This is long gone of the feudal system where you depended on a king or you were lucky to be an agrarian society or farm. All commerce can now even be done anonymously. It can be thrown into private wallets that are completely unconfiscatable, where the government doesn't even know you freaking have it, and your ex-wife doesn't even know. So there's this combating right now between old traditional governments that really operate like a mob, which their only role is, again, to tax, enslave, and control. Tax, enslave, and control. In a new system, which is actual real Renaissance, real Americana, real 1776, real liberty, and real prosperity, which is what our founding fathers envisioned, which is why we declared 1776 3 years ago. And we built theislandproject.com, not just as a world-class real estate portfolio and a multi-billion-dollar soon-to-be blockchain launch. Again, keep in mind, we already own 33.5 million of no bank debt physical assets. Even on a line chart of just traditional appreciation rates, even during crises like 2008 and 09, even if that happens a few times along the way, the portfolio within 10 years worth about $150 million with no leverage. Another 10 years, probably about 400 to 500 million. Another 5-10 years, $1 billion plus, doing nothing, just allowing real wealth with no debt, no mortgages, which means death. Mort means to die. None of that. just building in perpetuity as a legacy asset, just like all the elites do that for themselves. So, for example, King George and what we see over with the royal family, which I don't pay much attention to, do you think they have bank debt? No. They just own their giant collection of estates and they allow it to appreciate. Maybe from time to time they might borrow against some of their assets or sell a portion of an asset and then move it tax-free into other assets. But all they're doing is accumulating. You see, the American people have been conned into debt slavery and debt by death taxation in the United States, in my opinion. So the government has used brute force against the American people and freedom fighters to extort. Now, again, I pay my taxes and I follow all the rules because I have to. But the point is, that's not what the Founding Fathers envisioned at all. The Founding Fathers poured tea into the ocean for a measly few percentage point. What was it, 1%? Maybe 5% at most for a tea tax. And the American people today are now being, trying to think of a calm word, destroyed by now this Luddite transition and movement to the new city-state infrastructure that those same elites are building for you now. So here's the point. In the future, digital, physical, and virtual economic systems like this will become much more valuable than they currently are, just like they already are tremendously valuable, but even much more valuable in the future with a common ethos, a common vision, a common community, mission statements, things like that. People actually voting for what they want in their lives. Like Steve G goes and enjoys an incredible vacation at the property that he fractionally owns. Not just one, but all the properties. Owns all of the freaking properties, along with my other members. All of them. Diversified, can ski, suntan, surf, snowboard, and fish, and do whatever he wants. While the asset base only makes money. And think about how stupid most people are. They go to hotels, dump their money to Bill Gates, who owns the Four Seasons, never get their return on investment back, never see it again. It's like flushing your capital down the toilet and never seeing it again. Holding your money in US fiat dollars is like setting your real wealth on fire and destroying yourself in a ball of fireworks on 4th of July. Yet people commit these same economically adulterous acts on themselves and continue to allow the state not just imprison their mind, but imprison their finances, their intellectual capability, their philosophical, moral greatness, their spiritual connection, and so much more that gives human life passion, which established the country in the first place. Not some kind of low vibration, which is what they constantly promote through the mainstream media and, through division and fake two-party systems. So politics are becoming a lot less relevant in the future, and the future is competing nation states, competing governments. So I'm going to throw something wild out there, which will probably blow your mind. Most of you probably won't believe it, but you'll see I'm right about this in the future. This could actually file for a UN charter at some point, the Island Project, because there will be so much wealth in this economy here. This private, really almost state in and of itself, could file for a UN charter. In fact, Peter Thiel and others are attempting to do this now with their new city-state in Honduras called Prospera. And they have full intent, by design, to establish their own tax system, their own government system, their own authorities, their own negotiation with the United Nations and other governmental bodies, and then to distribute it through a decentralized network of which the city-states thrive. I know that sounds kind of sci-fi to a lot of you, but it's not. With the rapidity of the singularity event horizon, AI, Moore's law, in the advancement of the technological prowess that's currently occurring. Many of you have probably already been blown away how much has changed in the last 10 years. You're about to be blown away by how much it 1000x's again in 3 by 2028. So the point that I'm making is that I think a lot of you underestimate even the vision for our island project and how big it actually is, how it's a multi-billion dollar, if not trillion dollar asset class, that tokenized economies, physical assets and real estates connected through distribution is actually the future of city-states, governments, and investments, not just the investment component. And it's a very interesting period from the historical perspective. So again, to give you some examples of this for you history students, look at ancient Rome. And by the way, most governmental authorities and powers only survive 250 years. Do you know where we're at here in the United States? Well, I think it was the 249th anniversary today. So next year in 2026, it's the 250 year, which typically that's when nations collapse and fail. Now, the one standout that was actually an anomaly to that 250-year collapse structure was actual ancient Rome, with Caesar, and then, of course, Western Roman Empire, which led for, I think, about 500 years, if I remember correctly, followed by the Eastern Empire, that was modern Rome, and then the Eastern Empire and Constantinople, and, of course, the emperors there that lasted, I think, about another 1,000 years. So almost 1,500 years combined. And as the old Roman Empire crumbled because of debt, because lack of ingenuity, technological change, and innovation, over egregious spending, clippage of its coins, clipping down the denarius with false contents of not real metal. You know what the United States government does with your fake toilet paper, cash, trash here in the United States. It's hyperinflationary. Even since the last, I think it was 1949, to about the year 2000, the United States dollar lost over 80% of its purchasing power. Something along those lines. Something stunning, absolutely extraordinary. And so then we saw the Roman Empire in and of itself. And by the way, Eastern Rome, Constantinople, etc., was much more, I would say, centrally controlled at the time, which was the only way really to rule in that type of system. And it was a lot more diplomatic in relationships and stuff and how it governed, which is one of the reasons why many historians believe that it survived longer. The point that I'm making now is that I want you to kind of look at that context a little bit and understand that we've gone through many revolutions over the last several, decades and even centuries, from a hunting-gatherer society and Cro-Magnon man type, state, to agrarian and farming, to industrialization, and now what many have called is the fourth epoch or the fourth industrial revolution, which is the information age. But I would argue that we're actually entering the fifth age. And in fact, I just thought of it, and I'll be the first in the world to describe it this way. I think it's the intelligent age, the actual intelligence age. And I believe that that is the fifth epoch that we are entering now. Again, for example, even from a motivation standpoint, for the longest time throughout history, it actually mattered what you were born into. It mattered who your parents were. It mattered how much money maybe you inherited. It mattered the color of your skin in various parts of the world, even in this country. It mattered what your religion was. It mattered all those things, socioeconomic, the structure of society, the factions of it. Now, you literally have no excuse but yourself. For example, the internet is raceless, doesn't care about the color of your skin. Your ability to anonymously, even if you have disabilities, can build an entire economic billionaire powerhouse that sells all over the internet. Doesn't matter your religion, your sex, male, female, what you believe, what you don't believe, your race. So again, I want you to think about as this collides, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that haven't been smart enough to figure this out. So they're going to be angry. The peasant class, grumbling, complying fools, as we know them. Sorry, but I'm being honest. They're going to be shocked by the wealth transfer, shocked by XRP hitting, $2 trillion. Shocked by Bitcoin's rise to $3 million plus. Shocked by Ethereum's stratospheric 10K plus number printing that it's going to do in the next few months, probably. Shocked by the AI robotic takeover. Shocked by the new system and the new intelligentsia that has essentially been built and developed, and the new economic order that is being established, by the way, not by me, by the people that are in power. You know, it's very easy to see where these trends are headed and to see where all of this is going in a very meaningful way if you actually pay attention to it. So let's get to some practicalities again of what I think is to come. I think that as a part of this golden age, there is going to manifest, guaranteed, very much a systemic socioeconomic, sociological middle-class crisis. And I just explained what it is. Again, we can't move. These are what the elites are doing. Again, I'm not the one. These are what the controllers are doing. The people really in power, the people that attend those secretive meetings. This is what they're doing. This has just already been decided. It's why they did the lockdowns in 2020. It's already been decided. They know that this is going to be a very, very disruptive period in history, and so they're doing their best to control it. Donald Trump, for example, not only is he marrying himself and launching his own creative, AI-related and governmental-related AI projects. I think it's being announced today. In fact, let's take a look at this. I believe Donald Trump chose today for the new fifth generation government age, the intelligent age, which I just coined. I just dubbed it. I don't know. I've never heard anyone else say that. But here we are. AI.gov is going to be launched very soon on Independence Day. So I want you to think about what I'm saying. Trump knows. His kids know. All the elites know. Peter Thiel knows. Any intellectual knows. You know. Anyone with a thinking brain knows. Everyone that's ever traded, transacted, or owns Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum knows. Anyone that works on the internet knows. I mean, again, this revolution just didn't happen overnight. The threshold of the internet, TCP/IP, social media, then centralized internet domains like we're familiar with today, creator content, and then the advent of distributed, decentralized networks like with blockchain and what we've built and other things like it is an innovation that's been transpiring for multiple decades now, but now it's hitting the event horizon. So it's going to be a double-edged sword. Here's the double-edged sword intellectually, philosophically, which even I grapple with myself quite a bit, and I like to think about, and then also prepare. And then as I share with you, the number one thing you should do is pivot, leverage, and profit. Again, if you're smart enough to understand all of this, get rich. There's no reason not to become a billionaire. If you're smart enough to understand where the elites are taking you and how they're playing their dirty tricks, you're an idiot not to get rich. So again, and you'll only hurt yourself and your families in the future by not getting rich. See, I want you rich. I want you to have tools. Because I just explained to you what Musk and others are doing. They're setting up not just a city-state decentralized infrastructure network. This includes, even on a basic level, because the peasants can only understand the basics of things. And that's why Trump has been spouting things like we're taking Canada and Greenland and, we must expand into a North American empire, because he's got to sell it somehow that the American schmucks actually understand. Because they don't understand the high-level intellectualism of all this stuff, and they never have, and they never will. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true, and I'm giving you the perspective of how these people think. Again, Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel, and Musk view you as an ant, as an insignificant, lower-level being ant that must be managed, controlled, and dictated to. And this is why they're setting up not just the new inevitability of the city-states that they're building, but an entirely new economic, but more importantly, philosophical, social, intellectual construct order, but also importantly, the political order. And it was just declared by Elon Musk over July 4th. It's called his New America Party, which will serve the Luddite revolt. Here's what's coming during this disruption. Luddite revolt. Once people, and they're starting to now, wake up to, again, all my predictions have been accurate. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs that you must onboard the digital Noah's Ark now before the flood. Once people figure it out, they start to panic. So there's going to be a Luddite resistance to the new innovation, AI, tech, intellectual age, this new blockchain age, the new AI movement age. Again, as people become eradicated financially and economically so, and they lose all their purchasing power and their rights are removed systematically by these elites, your ability to own a home, your ability to ever buy a home, your ability to get good high quality food unless you're rich, your ability to travel, your ability to really have the pursuit of happiness. People will start panicking as all the wealth panic transfers into Musk and the rest of the oligarchs' pockets, and all of you that are taking my advice by onboarding the digital Noah's Ark and participating in something that's good, but that is also catching that wave that we know the evil empire has created. You need to understand it from this perspective. I mean, we're small fish. Like in the grand scheme of things, $1 billion is nothing, guys. We're going to need a lot more money than billions. I hate to break it to you, but people ask me why I work so hard. It's like, guys, $1 million is nothing nowadays. $1 billion is not that much money. We're going to need billions and billions at least to actually push this forward, to actually have a real prosperous civilization, a real distributed, connected ark, to create a real freedom-oriented economy, to have the liberty that our founding fathers enjoyed and envisioned for all of us, and that has long made us prosperous in the United States. The elites are doing it for themselves, so why wouldn't you do the same? The difference between what we've done and others is, again, I only serve Jesus and God, and we've built the digital Noah's Ark because he commanded it, and I wouldn't have been able to pull it off because we've already built it. We've already built the digital Noah's Ark. For crying out loud, it's been built. You're seeing all the properties now. I mean, you're going to get really painfully tired for all the continuous testimonials and properties expanding worldwide this year and beyond. It's going to be painful to watch these predictions continue to manifest. Painful to watch, to know that you had generational wealth stolen from you as Bitcoin soars to millions and millions of dollars. It's going to be painful, very painful. And so I say that with a loving heart, of a heart of integrity and passion, because I don't want you to miss, and I want you to understand what's coming. Again, these other intellectuals and individuals, businessmen and women, and these innovator, technologist, entrepreneurs do not believe in God. They're much more a transhuman, live forever, life extension. They believe they're God. It's a very Satan-esque, they do blood transfusions and all this stuff. Sam Altman and Peter Thiel both own blood companies, which transfuses, these are facts, not my opinion, that transfuses young blood so they can live longer. They're experimenting with their things, and I can't even say it all because I'm not allowed to talk about it. All those things are an experiment. Do you understand? I'm against all of that. I'm against AI taking over the entire world, against robots replacing all of your jobs, against self-driving cars. I'll never drive one. I'm against that totalitarianism. We're against all of it. What we want and stand for is actually what America really is. Sovereign men and women that love God first, work their butts off, might not be perfect, but have courage, take risks, and get it done at any cost, which is what my father and I have done. You just witnessed it. It's a beautiful thing. And again, once people actually realize not just how it's an extraordinary, I have to say there's, read my disclaimers and see my terms and financial disclosures, but once they understand it's a no downside, only up, only physical asset with no bank debt that only makes money long term, the light bulbs go off. But once you realize what we've built is a multi-billion-dollar blockchain, you crap your pants. And once you realize we've innovated into an economic new social construct and literally a new city-state intellectual societal advent structure for Christ, it literally lights your hair on fire like a sparkling freaking fire stick. And that's what I'm attempting to explain to you today from the bottom of my heart. Again, Jesus spoke in parables because he had to speak to the masses in a way that he understands. Donald Trump speaks to the American people in ways that they understand. Keeps it very dumbed down and very simple. Border wall. Border wall. So people can understand. MAGA. Make America great again. Okay, that makes sense. MAGA. I mean, they keep it very simple, very low level, so that you kind of not you guys are very smart. I'm talking about the general masses that have been duped. The complying, freaking idiotic, non-thinking, non-critically thinking masses think something's owed to them, working off the government teat 24/7, not rolling out there like people like myself, full-blown, courageous entrepreneurs, pushing through fire every day. And for those of you that are real entrepreneurs and business owners, you know that's truth because you all do that yourself every single day. It's the beauty of actual building companies and innovating and technology and all those kinds of things. So that is where we are headed. And the things that I value, I'm just speaking for myself, but I know that my members value this as well, which is why they've invested tremendous amounts of capital with my team. And it's just such an amazing experience to be a part of that, is because we value not only freedom and liberty, but God first and prosperity and true Americana and a renaissance. And then, with life being short too, actually building those memories you're never going to get back. I mean, I was watching from the testimonial, Steve, you just sent me, and I was like, man, beautiful family, bro. Like, you should be proud. Great work. And I'm looking at the sunsets and your daughter, she's got the Island Project hat. I look at the Jeeps. You guys driving one of our Willys. We've got 13 Jeeps, all lifted, all awesome, top notch, sit at every property, Black Ops limousines from concierge to from the limo to the champagne to the freaking Jeeps to the experience to the first class nature of everything we've built. I mean, it makes these hotels look like trash. You realize every property Island Project owns is $5 to $10 million plus. Makes a hotel room look like freaking trash compared to what this is. I mean, really, we've circumvented the billionaire class so that you can live like a billionaire. It's actually insane. Because again, everything about life and about the economy, business, and success is energy, and it's an idea. So many of you hold yourself back because you're like, well, I don't have any money, so I can't make any. That's the most stupid look at your situation, and it's why you'll stay broke. So I encourage you to change the seed of that in your mind today. No, ideas make money. And now that the internet is free, essentially, and it's not, you can be any color, any race. You can have a disability, a missing hand, a missing foot. You don't even have to be good looking. And you can go online and build companies from a face-forward approach and or completely from an anonymous approach behind the keyboard and get rich and find prosperity and find freedom and liberty like you could never freaking imagine. And that's what you need to understand. That light bulb should go off today, because I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to be left behind, just like they always have throughout history. I mean, think about how many people have been left behind with the internet. I sold the Dutch auction Google IPO to a handful of individuals when I was working as a broker on Wall Street with Merrill Lynch. And I door knocked, and I was on the phones, and I was in front of clients for several weeks selling a special allotment of a Dutch auction of Google. I'm sure you've heard of the company. 90% didn't want it. I've told you the story before, and I was able to sell 10% of it to a select few very wealthy families. Because keep in mind, you couldn't just buy Google stock like you tuning in, like a regular person. No, that's for the elites. Only the elites get access to those high quality investments. I hope you get that. So 10% took my advice, bought Google stock, and became wildly rich as a result. And, there's always been these restrictions and hurdles for your ability to access those types of opportunities until now. Again, this is the innovation of the internet a lot of you guys don't understand. And by the way, we're a private placement. That's how we filed legally with regulators in 2022. Private placements are fairly common economic, constructions. Basically, it's like a Huey. So all of our investors own a part of the project. It's managed by myself and our team and our Island Project LLC that, of course, manages all things on behalf of the investors, like paying taxes and insurance and maintaining properties and organizing staff and transportation and collecting rents and all that kind of stuff, and then doing all of our paperwork. I mean, you should have seen the amount of work we had to do just this year filing our K-1s, which has put us right on track for just an enormous 2025 and a huge 2026. It's going to be absolutely fire, like absolutely freaking insanity. And so again, there's the juxtaposition, which I'm explaining to you. Most of society is going to be lost as this happens, wondering what just happened, wondering in Luddite form why the transition to AI, blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and now stable coins, which the US government invented. And I knew about this before you'd ever even probably heard of a stable coin, because I know people like Dan Moorhead of Goldman Sachs. And I spoke with him when they were in the development of Circle, which later has now done an IPO and is responsible for the creation of one of the first stable coins, along with Tether, USDC. See, that was always a government creation because the government is trying to hold on to power, right, from a new system that's emerging, and they're going to do that with stable coins to eat the old fiat dollars worth nothing as they transfer the wealth and then create a new fiat system and build on top of the ashes while they destroy all of your lives and make you poor, broke, and servile. And they're going to lock you in your house again. So just understand that they will do that as well. I'm sorry, guys. I'm telling you the truth. Like, you're not out of the woods yet, okay? Until God's return. You should be working fervently like I do every single day. I mean, I could be on the beach right now having a cocktail, which I'll probably do later, okay, to celebrate July 4th. But again, I'm here for a reason. It's very important you understand what's taking place. I mean, guys, did I not just give you the most hard-hitting and in-your-face truth that you've never even heard before? I just told you Elon Musk and others are building the new America party for all those reasons I just described. It's a vacuum. Do you understand? I'm sure Tucker Carlson and all those people will be absorbed into it too from the mainstream media. Because again, they know what I know. The elites must create talking heads and vacuums to control the divide, and then to engineer the movement from the ground up, which they have, what's the word for it, infiltrated to control it. You've seen this in the past, like another guy I find pretty interesting online. What is his name? He's the guy overseas that does the digital nomad, right? He's been telling you for years how you can be a digital nomad. I mean, all of that is extremely true and prescient and something he's done and people like me have done. I mean, we don't need to be in any physical location. Do you understand how much freedom there is with that? That there's no company we go into in the morning. We literally build all of our businesses online, scale them infinitely, theoretically, right? And we're not controlled by anyone. Do you understand how much liberty there is in that? In my view, I think it's nuts people don't want that. I think it's nuts people, and I really believe this, I believe most people want to be controlled. I really believe most people want to be governed, want to be owned in a respect, and want to be controlled, something that I could never handle. I'm honestly incapable of not being an entrepreneur. Even my wife will tell you that. She's like, yeah, you really can't do anything else. Like, I'm programmed. So even being an entrepreneur for me was never a risk because I can't do anything else but be an entrepreneur. It's just my makeup. Literally the DNA. Probably because I come from a long list of entrepreneurs, like my father. But I'm actually more entrepreneurial, I would say, and my dad would tell you this too, than even my father. I think I'm probably more in alignment with my grandfather, who was the dude flipping burgers in a burger shop, selling apples and oranges during the Great Depression because his dad died, and he was in charge of like an 8-person household. And while him and his brothers were flipping burgers, started making mayonnaise and relish and salad dressings, and then took their truck that they could barely afford and knocking on restaurant doors and selling it. And then they went on to build a multi-million-dollar company that my dad later took over, called Greene Boys Foods, which makes all the pickles for In-N-Out Burgers, that great Christian company. Those pickles are Greene Boys, by the way. It's private labeled now, and It's owned under the conglomerate of Heinz. But I'm much more like him, I believe, like a real, true, just kind of gung-ho, spirited, do it at all costs and take massive risks and, feel free to fight the resistance. So I take a lot of motivation. I'm saying that today too because I feel my grandfather out right now, actually spiritually. I'm going to tell you a really amazing story I told my dad. This was years ago when I started Greene Wave. And I remember I was kind of depressed because I think I was about 10 years into it. And I wasn't seeing a lot of the success that I had wanted to see. I want the growth faster, right? And quicker, as we all do. So I was kind of losing my patience and I was feeling a little bit lost. And I remember I was walking through Honolulu and it was raining on me and I felt the Holy Spirit overtake me. And I remembered where my grandfather used to live. He had a condo outside of Waikiki. And somehow the Spirit guided me to the actual building. And so I'm kind of dripping in rain. My wife was actually with me at the time. She's like, what are we doing? I'm like, just follow me. I don't know, follow. And so I just follow the Holy Spirit. We get to the building and of course it's locked, okay? So you can't get into these private buildings, but someone just happens to be exiting at the same time I go to grab the door. So then I enter and then I go up to the same floor and I knew what floor it was at the time in the elevator. And I get up to the floor and I go look out at the view and it's raining. And I hear my grandfather and he says, Christopher, it's all going to be okay. He says, it's all going to be okay. And basically, it was not even with words, some of it, but it was like, I got you. I'm here. I'm looking out for you. And it's going to work out. What's cool about it is I actually know what he meant now, today, in this moment, July 4th, 2025, because it has. And my grandfather was a great man and a wonderful guy who only knew work and only knew bootstrapping and only knew just go work your ass off every day. That was all he ever did. I mean, he never even had a chance to work out. I view that as a luxury. I have the ability to go and lift weights and stuff and like go for a jog. My grandfather was working so much, he didn't even know what working out was. Later on, he liked golf and those kinds of things when he was older, like, more in his 60s, 70s, and 80s and stuff. But it was a different time, man. It was a different generation. Rat packing generation. Had kind of a little belly. Never drank. Smoked like a sieve, though. Packs and packs a day. My dad said there'd be like ashtrays full up to the ceiling at Green Boys Food in Los Angeles as they're making all their relish, forklifts going around and stuff. And him and his brother started the company. Good-looking guys, cool cats. I'm trying to think which one it was. I think it was Forrest. Looked like Frank Sinatra. Just a stunning, brute force man. Like just a manly man. I remember his brothers had hands too that were just, you could tell they had been working hard. I've got other family that were stonemason, bricklayers. I mean, the list goes on and on. When you learn about your family tree, it's pretty cool. Actually, to think about it, and I think my father even said too that we've got even a little Cherokee in us, which I find interesting. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I have kind of this innate spiritual connection too that not everyone seems to possess. I'm not 100% sure about that, but my father says he's pretty certain that somewhere in our line has that as well. Isn't that beautiful? I was teaching my kids about Adam and Eve, and yesterday we were going through the 10 Commandments because they asked about that. So I was giving them the rules of life and how these laws might sound kind of funny to you now, but they're literally the laws to live a good, peaceful, honorable, and most importantly, joyful and respectful existence. So we were teaching about that, but also they're learning, wait a minute, Daddy, we're related to Noah? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're related to Adam and Eve? Yeah. And my littlest one's praying last night. He's like, I want to pray for Noah as well. It was the cutest thing as I'm tucking them into bed. And so I'm kind of showing my heart a little bit to you too, that the things that we have built, the things that have impassioned me all this time, the things that really matter, that I find hopeful to our community and our members are so special, and they're so integral to greatness through Him and through God, that they're irreplaceable. And so I think that's what I'm trying to describe is I've been able to witness and see joy brought into my actual members through their experiences and through their success, which, by the way, it's only begun. You've seen nothing yet. You've seen nothing yet, guys. This is just started. This is just the beginning. So, you've seen nothing yet, but just to even see that, I'm like, wow, that is just so cool. And to me, brings meaning to my life by bringing meaning to others, and to be able to, expand upon this human life experience with you all and not complying and never backing down. I had a conversation too with my kids because in 2020, there's stories I don't tell you about. Like there was decisions that I had to make even business-wise that were actually considered setbacks at the time because I would not comply. Like I'm talking about walking away from millions in 2020, millions and millions of dollars. And honestly, 99.9% of every other human being, not you guys, because you guys are amazing and you guys are the non-compliers, but most people would have just gone, it would have been easier to take the wide path. There's so much you don't even know about the Miracle of Island project, how it's only been designed by God. And because of relentless and completely unforgiving faith in the King, he has absolutely allowed something in his greatness and light to transpire here July 4th, 2025, which is our 3-year anniversary, which has now been officially built, and we're now locking and closing the doors forever. And there's never going to be another founders round like it, ever. Our multi-billion-dollar blockchain will be sailing to the moon. We're going to be buying properties, continue to buy properties all around the world and the great United States of America, completely distribute and decentralize the arc. There's going to be opportunities, business opportunities, new economy opportunities, transportation opportunities. I mean, literally a worldwide network of believers. And to me, that is the most amazing, concrete, physical, and real thing that I've ever been able to put my hands on and touch, which you don't get with a stock, which you don't get even with a crypto, and you don't get with a bond, and you don't get with your 401k or your retirement account unless you roll it over into the Island Project now with my dad and put your money to work for you and something you can enjoy that's irreplaceable while you make money, build a legacy investment, give it and inherit it to your kids and grandkids, do it for the glory of God and also even your own self-interest. Because the wave that we're riding now, this tidal wave into the quote unquote golden age, I know it's how Donald Trump describes it, but that's very real in essence of what he is saying. But it ain't a golden age for everybody. Just like not everyone's going to be saved, guys. Not everyone's going that way. Okay? Again, the narrow path. It's a narrow path. One thing I've learned over time too, and I'm going to give you a little more motivation today, is that a lot of you are trying to drive too much with your business, your life, and even your relationships, and you're not letting go and letting God. I'm old enough now, and I'll be 44 soon, which I believe this is my lucky birthday month, and I'll be turning 44, which I believe is a blessed, very blessed, and already has been a very fruitful and blessed year in so many ways. My baby daughter, Faith, surviving surgery, now being reborn again, essentially in the spirit of Jesus, against all odds, business, that prosperity, all of those things. But what I was saying is that so many of you are trying to drive, and I've learned even in my spry 44 years, is that you want to let God drive. I've learned in the past, especially when I was younger and maybe a little bit more ignorant in learning, as we, are all, when you're young in your 20s, you're strong and you're virile and you just want everything now, and you kind of lack patience and you think you know everything when you don't. The older you get, the more we realize we don't know anything. The smarter we get, we realize there's even more questions, right? Things that we don't understand. But the lesson that I've learned, and I believe it's something you guys know as well, a lot of you, especially older than myself, is that it's always best for God to make the decision. So stop trying to drive the boat. Stop trying to drive the digital Noah's Ark and just let go and let God, and then take the action and get behind the wheel, but let him do it. When you click the link below at islandproject.com and you get in with your first 150 units or more before we slam the doors shut here July 4th, 1776, and you're never allowed to DCA again, and the rest is history. Keep in mind, The Founders Round is special. We charge no annual fee. Once you think about that, that almost makes us look stupid that we don't do that. We charge no annual fee. All of our members get all the capital gains per their units, all the upside, legacy for the rest of their lives and their kids and their children's lives, as long as they hold the investment, all future income distributions, comped time up to their tiers, up to 30 days comped at any host of properties every single year, In addition to even our minimum 30K investors that onboarded first 2-3 years ago when we first opened, and the early birds are always going to be the most successful, my 30Kers, even them, 40% off the rack rate of what normally would be the daily rate. And that money that you pay, instead of going to Bill Gates at the Four Seasons so he can get rid of all of you and delete you in the future, actually pays into your own equity. A lot of you still don't understand how powerful that is. So when you stay at an Island Project property, decide to do that, even if you're paying in addition to your comped time, because we offer that extraordinary feature as well, you're paying into your own capital base. It's genius, right? You're welcome. I am a genius because I invented the digital Noah's Ark for not just the real estate component. I attempted at least, and I believe a lot of you will understand, that the Island Project was designed for all of that I also saw. The city-states, the Luddite transformation, the Bitcoin blockchain age. Again, all of you always ask me how I got Bitcoin right and how I knew because it sounded so crazy and I'm just a loudmouth on the internet. But in reality, I've been proven correct about all of it. How did I know? It's the same way that I've known and I explained all the things I just explained to you, and there's so much more. There's so much more I can't even tell you. There's so much more I'm not even allowed to say. Because as I shared with you in this video, there's a battle now between the old, archaic, dying traditional system, which is losing power and control over sovereign men and women like you and great liberty and freedom fighters in a yin and in a yang in an anachronistic format. Almost like when natives saw Napoleon conquer and they saw their first fire sticks and called it a fire stick, and they didn't understand that the takeover was going to happen abruptly. It's the same thing now. Even from a missionary perspective, bringing Christianity overseas, that was an anachronistic moment as well, where a clash of society and a clash of civilization. It's the same thing now. The clash of old America, which is dead, which is never coming back, and the new city-state infrastructure of AI, blockchain, Bitcoin, decentralized, distributed, economic, sovereign communities built upon common ethos, virtual economies, and physical assets, and sovereignty that clash with the old world. And you're going to see this play out. For example, even geopolitically, you see China, which largely controls by force, centralized much of its AI digital economy. And then the West, which is a lot more free and open. And even that is a clash and a battle between worlds. Notice even modern warfare is now different and has made the old periods not futile, but like an insignificant tactic of war. They don't need military troops like they once did. They just need drones, robots, AI, and things that get into your computer systems, and EMPs and controls of the grid, and the internet and the domain of the information age, which I coined and invented today live on camera. I usually invent stuff live. That's how I get through it, through talking. The fifth epoch, which I just declared, and maybe I'll write a book on it and tell you all the things that I'm not allowed to tell you on camera, but I can only put in a book format, which is the intelligence age, or the intelligent epoch of the fifth stage of the revolutionary moment. As I sit here, along with my members, as founding fathers, founding mothers, founding grandfathers, and founding grandmothers, and sons and daughters of the new America, and the new 1776 that makes our country great. Because we're not going to make America great again. No, baby, we're the freaking new America. We're the new 1776. And today's July 4th, and I love you. God bless you, and stay and live dangerously, because it's a short trip. Go big and go hard. and go all in with us now. That's islandproject.com. See our terms and disclaimers, links below. We are the digital Noah's Ark for a reason, commanded by God. We've already built it. It's already been done. We are closing the doors now. Get in DCA if you're one of my existing members. Even with 30 units, you can add to those units now. Go fill out an app, add them. Add 30, add 50, add 100, add 10. Only if you're already in. And if you're a new board, fill out an app for my purview, and I'll review it with my father. And you can also fund directly online with the Buy Now button. We accept crypto. And if you have any questions about that, speak to my father, 808-442-2934, and roll over your retirement accounts now by talking to my dad at 808-442-2934. We'll never reach out to you on WhatsApp. I will never direct message you. The only places that you can find us or speak with me is at the Buy Now button at the Digital Noah's Ark at islandproject.com right here, or directly in real time speaking with my father, Papa John Greene, Vice President, at 808-442-2934. The best man I know, has more integrity than any man I know. He's the best mentor that I know, and he is a God-fearing man, and he's also a stud, and I love him, and I couldn't have done all this without him and without our amazing community of members fighting back that are now riding the wave of history into something that is so unbelievable. And I want you to think about the goodness that's coming from this, because we focus on the horrors and the bad things and the disruption, which we just explained and we know is here. But the opportunity here, man, focus on that. Focus on the opportunity to save more souls. Focus on the opportunity to deliver the gospel. Focus on the opportunity to start your own business. Focus on the opportunity to democratize yourself. Get out there. Don't let anyone hold you back. Don't let a parent or somebody tell you you can't do it or you're not special. I'm here to tell you you are damn straight special. God loves you. I love you. Jesus Christ made you. You are perfect, and you are the perfect image of God, and you are the perfect creation for a reason, and there is nothing wrong with you. I don't care if you have Down syndrome. I don't care if you were born without an eye, if you were born without your hand. I don't care what setback you have. I don't care what you've suffered. I don't care about your past or your addictions or your failures or the obstacles you may or may not have overcome then. It ain't about then anymore. It's about today and now, and you need to burn the ships, as our great generals and General Greene has done here at the islandproject.com of the past. And you need to move forward and set sail to your greatest existence in what is possible. And not just the golden age, but the age of the real millennium kingdom in the name of Jesus Christ, as the angels sing. And that's who we're working for. So golden age, yeah, you know, I commend Donald Trump for it. I know he's going to make us a lot of money. Big deal. We're fighting for the millennium kingdom, along with all of you. That's the one I'm a part of, and that's the one that we're going to glorify. I love you all. Jesus Christ is King. You are all special. You are all deserving of greatness. I believe in all of you, and you can all do it. Again, if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. And God believes in you. He made you in the perfect image and the perfect design of him, even with all of your flaws, just as Adam and Eve fell. And as Noah knew the great flood was coming, I just warned of the great transition crisis into the fifth epic revolution of the intelligence age. I'm Christopher Greene, president of the Island Project, the most successful, fractionally owned, soon-to-be multi-billion-dollar tokenized real estate, first-of-its-kind, state-of-the-art project in the world, along with my members and my father, and the builder and creator of the largest alternative media television trademarked platform. Alternative media television, along with Greenwave, started nearly 20 years ago. So what are you waiting for? Live your investment and do it today. Links here and down here. See you all soon. This is actually my right hand, but I always show you my left now because people were complaining, saying I need to use my right. But technically, this is my right hand. But here, it looks right to you. And I'll be enjoying a Mai Tai later because I'm going to take it in, and honestly, I want to honor my grandfather today by sitting down, praying, feeling the Spirit, kissing my kids, hugging my loved ones, and sending my heart to you tuning in. Subscribers, members, non-members, haters, cynics, I love you. I hope. I inspire. And even if you're a hater, I hope I trigger something that maybe you'll look back in the future and be like, you know what, he actually was right. I should believe in myself, and I should do something positive. and I should become something and part of something bigger and something more meaningful while I'm here. And stop listening to the world that tells you you're insignificant and that you don't matter and that you developed from some godless piece of crap poo that randomly suddenly decided to fart and explode into the universe, which is one giant fat friggin' lie. That this is intelligent design and this was created by a being and a mind. Something many of you know, most of you do, hopefully. I know, and allegedly, although I don't place too much on supposed IQ, because I think that's a modern construction of what they think or say as intelligence, and I think a lot of intelligence cannot be measured, especially physical, social intelligence, and even spiritual intelligence. But the man with the highest IQ declared Jesus Christ is the living God. And I think he knows what he's talking about. Love you all. Show your kids that video. I did mine. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty dope that people are now seeing what we see and stepping up to the plate and declaring the name. Because as these things transpire, end times, tribulation, the heartache of war, of transition, of the Luddite AI takeover, as all of this transpires, political factions, explosions of ideologies, again, what does that mean, guys? That means we got to get closer to God, get closer to the Word, and then till the field with me. Do it now, man. Till the freaking field. Don't be afraid to roll up your sleeves, get a little dirty. Get in, man. Roll up those freaking sleeves and then send me a testimonial of your badass trip to the Island Project and tell all of your friends. But know that only a select few of you, the chosen, will ever be His and our founders. I love you all.